Some great goals there. That's what went out on the channel last week. I'm in the hot seat now because Ben Andrews is off on international duty, joined, of course, by Pat Nevin. Let's go straight to the Britannia, shall we?
Yeah, we needed to win this game just to put a little bit of pressure. Happily, the goalkeeper helped us a little bit.
Just a little bit,
Just a little bit, but you got to spot when, you know, they're not paying attention, they think the ball's going to come in the back. Great to see Gary getting that goal there because he's got a few important goals this season, but this was one of the big ones. And look at the reaction from both of them,
It's incredible.
and the manager, and they know. And look, don't get carried away for too long. Got to make the right changes here. Get another centre back on. We've only got 4 minutes to go.
Back to business straight away, isn't it?
It was absolutely fantastic how quick it was, and it was nailed. Excitement, losing it, and then suddenly back onto business.
On top of the table, and it's those sort of games you could almost say separates the winners from the challengers.
Possibly so. I mean, but also not being controlled. Having said that, we're controlled. The manager was controlled, but I know a couple of people who weren't in control.
David Luiz wins it. No one's there.
Oh,
Cahill!
Well, what's your favourite adjective, Pat? We know Conte's is hard, as in hard work.
Has to be said, in British football, it's one that's not as often used, but creative. It's not just in football, it's in life generally. If you're creative, you can stand above the rest, and we've got plenty of guys out on that pitch who are creative, and that's mine.
And we know Gary Cahill, well, he tried to fit in every adjective into his post-match interview.
Gary, how big do those 3 points feel? Huge, massive. Yeah, really big.
Well, it's quite funny because Gary was telling us at his most recent audience with that his favourite subject, apart from PE, was, of course, English.
Second to that was probably English, although you hardly understand any of my English, do you?
Sometimes you fight in the
He
school.
never understands my English. I think it's my Yorkshire
Oh,
accent.
Gary,
so
this is
without
true.
a clue.
Gary, speak with me and say, what? I say, all right. And then I come to John and say, I didn't say anything.
Yeah,
Okay,
you can tell when someone's not got your English when you're talking to him and you're just nodding like.
I'm Scottish, you're Irish.
I am.
I've got a Serb next.
We do, who's been talking about all things first this week.
Rivaldo or Zinedine Zidane? Steak? Renault Megane, the grey one, was the best car in the world.
Memorable first, Pat, first job?
First job, apart from playing football, it has to be said, I was chief executive of Motherwell, but then I was 36 by that point.
That's an interesting first job for
It
someone.
is an interesting first job. Actually, my
Most
real...
start with a paper round or something, but
No,
chief
I
executive,
didn't try any of them first. I thought I'd just go straight to the top. In actual fact, my first real job was playing youth team football. Oddly, and no one knows this, for Airdrieonians. I played one game for them and then went back to studying. So my job started at youth team. Anyway, talking about youth teams.
Not a bad week for the under-18s either.
We should always be proud of this and we should never take it for granted. You know, 9-2 on aggregate against Spurs in a semi-final is absolutely astonishing. And the big thing is, yeah, you want to win these trophies, and the history and the records are just being broken all the time. 8 out of the last 10 finals Chelsea have been in. We're going to win 4 in a row now. I mean, that's absolutely extraordinary. I think it's going to be Manchester City, probably.
Well, Ike Ugbo was very modest after the game in response to one of Neil Barnett's more peculiar questions.
Now, the crucial statistic. Goals scored for the youth team. Dominic Solanke, 36. Tammy Abraham, 44. Ike Ugbo, 46.
I think it's always good looking at all the other players, top strikers like Dom and Tammy doing well. I think it's something good to aim forward to.
Who's the better looking of the three of you?
Of course, I have to say myself. But we all look good.
Well, Pat, you know what's next?
I do. It's Game of Words.
So, Pat, Tammy Abraham back amongst the goals.
Never get fed up talking about him. He's had a little bit of an injury, but it has to be said this is a top quality goal. Not expecting to score that one. Nips in front of the defender there, and a top quality celebration as well. The man's back on form. Big future.
Of course, it's not just him. Charlie Colkin amongst the goals. On the continent, Bertrand Traore, Andreas Christensen, of course Juan Cuadrado as well. We seem to forget about him sometimes.
We do forget about him, but all these players are out on loan, and not just the ones that are scoring, but the ones that are playing well as well.
Well, the ladies were back in action, a whole host of new faces, including new signings Crystal Dunn and Ramona Bachmann, and they were in the side, and amongst the goals, they looked impressive.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a massive season, not just for Chelsea ladies, but all the women's football teams. And you want to start well, and it's against Doncaster Bells, who were the powerhouse in the past of English ladies football. But the new players starting well. I mean, 7 goals in an FA Cup game is big, but it's going to be tough this season. I really do think this could be the season where it all bursts open for women's football.
Well, it's not just on the pitch they're showing off, they're even more impressive on the training ground.
Do you know what? If this is a deliberate nutmeg, and I'm going to give it, it's top quality.
Just about, yeah.
That's absolutely genius. Talk about players who score goals. If you actually seen this in the Premier League, you'd be happy. Gee, bang, back in it. Pick that one out.
That's Nevin technique there, isn't it?
I would be absolutely delighted with that one, and I think she's quite pleased with that, isn't she?
Just
and
a
rightly
tad.
so.
Well, just before we leave, some bizarre things on social media this week. Pat Batshuayi turning up for Belgium duty, looking like this.
Do you know what? I've tried really hard to get an excuse for him. The best I can do is he's turned up for international duty, he's left early in the morning, and he's got dressed in the dark.
I seem to go back to the 80s, and you were in something similar,
Well,
weren't
do you know the stripy bits down there? In Scotland, when we played, the lads seen these shots and we thought, no, Gaffer, don't make it as well then. It made even me look fat. Trust me, I wasn't fat.
So, Pat, what's your favourite pizza?
It's got to be a Diavolo. It has to be hot for me. However, take this on board. Any pizza dipped in Thousand Island dressing tastes fabulous. No, it sounds weird? Try it.
Interesting. Well, let's see what the boss's favourite pizza is. He was answering your questions on Twitter.
Pizza napolitana and also sometimes capricciosa is very good. Yeah, but I like a lot.
I'm not going to argue with the manager. He's Italian. He knows his pizza, so I am going to try one of them as well.
Not for me. I'm all for Hawaiian. That's all for this week. We'll leave you, though, with the best bits from this season at Cobham.
3 players. Oh! Premier League game.
A lesson for the young kids.
Go in search of another. Oh! I'm tapping out.